It is time now for 10 TV Plus. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud alongside Michael Behrens. And now, Michael, 2 days and counting from the start of winter. It's going to feel like it out there, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're finally looking at some wintry weather coming into central Ohio. I mean, I say finally. We had some snow earlier this year, but then it got warm again, and now we got a little bit of snow headed our way.
A little bit of snow on the way. It gets colder this weekend, and we're tracking snow like we just mentioned for tomorrow. So a jam-packed show. Let's get right into it. We have some cold weather on the way. One of our coldest days of the season will actually be this Saturday, which, by the way, is the first day of winter. 2 days and counting until winter begins. The solstice is Saturday at 4:21 in the morning. And with that, as early as next week, you're going to start noticing a little bit of a shift in our daylight here. The days start getting longer. Today, your sun goes down right around 5:08, but even a week out as we get towards Christmas and just after, we gain a little bit of daylight. And then look at that, 3 weeks out, the sun goes down at 5:24 p.m. So you're going to start noticing that shift out here. All right, let's talk some business here. We are tracking some snow as we go into tomorrow. This is not an all-day affair. I'm thinking about 6 a.m. till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, could that sway 1 hour on either side? Sure. I mean, you might get a few flurries as late as 2 or 3 tomorrow afternoon, a dusting to a half inch, so nothing to get too excited about. You can see right now we have some heavy snowfall moving across central and southern Wisconsin. Not a whole lot showing up here at home, just kind of cloudy and kind of dreary out here. But they have issued winter storm watches and warnings and even some advisories across parts of the upper Midwest. No advisories issued here because, frankly, we're just not looking at that much accumulation. This just will not be that big of a snow producer. Here comes a low, though, nonetheless. Heading into tomorrow, a lot of moisture initially, and then it kind of gets strung along here, and the moisture kind of gets displaced. And we don't really see a whole lot of heavy snow here. Then it zips on out of here as we head into tomorrow night. So eventually that moves on out. We'll begin at 5:30 tomorrow morning. So initially, you'll notice that it's cloudy. We'll have a few flurries. And then as we head towards 6 o'clock in the morning, we start getting these snow flurries that start to move on in. Here's a look at 9 o'clock in the morning. And again, the reason why we're not seeing a lot of accumulation is because this is going to be on again, off again snow. So you get some quick snow and then things dry up and then you get another quick burst of snow and then so on and so forth. Here's a look at 1 o'clock again. That's starting to push off down to the south, and then things start to eventually dry up as we head into late tomorrow evening. But as late as 9 o'clock on your Friday night, we could be looking at a few flurries moving in across the area. Here's a look at some new model data hot off the press, and you'll notice that, again, we've been saying all week long, this is not a remarkable storm. Maybe a dusting to a half inch, that's pretty much it. The big story, though, with these Alberta Clipper systems is typically not the snow. It's typically the extreme cold air behind it, and take a look at it right here. Friday night going into Saturday, look at whenever you get purples on this map, you know it's cold. That's going to be pushing across the Great Lakes, moving into the area for the weekend. Nighttime lows go like this. So tonight, tomorrow night, not too bad. It's really Saturday night, Sunday night where it really gets cold out here. Then eventually the temperatures start migrating, getting a little bit warmer as we head into next week. Heading off to the Buckeye game, temperatures will be in the 30s, dropping down to 22. Bundle up. We're talking hats, scarves, mittens, the glove warmers, whatever you got to do, but just be prepared for that. And then as we head into the weekend, hey, the bad news, it's cold, but the trade-off is that we get the sunshine. Look at Sunday, 28 and sunny. You're going to have to dress warm, but it's going to be a little bit sunnier than what we see on Saturday, as we'll have some clouds in the area. Christmas is right around the corner. Historically speaking, only about 23% of the time do we have a white Christmas. What is the definition of a white Christmas? 1 inch of snow on the ground or more on Christmas morning. Historically speaking, that happens less than a quarter of the time. And you know what? Quite frankly, this year, I think it's a 0% chance. From 1952, we've had a total of 27 white Christmases. From 2004, a total of 4 white Christmases. Here's one of the reasons why we're not tracking a white Christmas is that look how warm it's going to be. The middle to later half of next week going into the start of the new year, temperatures are going to be way above average. We're talking 10 to 15, maybe 20 degrees above average. We will have the precipitation. We're not lacking the precip. What we're lacking is the cold air, and so that's going to be working against us here. And just to show you how warm things are going to be, look at the next 10 days, how much warmer it gets towards the end of next week. So here's normal. This is the cold air that we have coming in Saturday and Sunday. We kind of dip down with the coldest day being on Sunday. And then here you go. Wow, look at that right there. By the end of next week, well above normal, close to being 10 to 15 degrees warmer than what you would expect this time of the year. So the temperatures are going to be staying very, very mild late next week. Before that, though, we have some changes on the way. Here's a look at Christmas Day, by the way. 43, it's going to be a wet Christmas instead of a white Christmas. And this is what we're tracking here. Some rain, maybe a few flakes early on Christmas Eve. And then the green kind of wins out. Take a look at all this moisture moving into the area heading into the day on Wednesday. And that will last through Thursday as well. So that's not changing anytime soon. The showers continue through next week. And so, preaching that message that we're not lacking the rainfall. What we're lacking is the cold air. If it were 10 degrees colder, I think for sure we'd be talking a white Christmas next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to get into that white Christmas kind of atmosphere if those temperatures in the 40s in the afternoon. Even if we get flakes, it's just not going to stick.
Yeah, it's not going to be happening next year. But this weekend, again, the big story, just how cold it's going to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But you said yourself, the good news is we're not lacking in precipitation, which, I mean, we were for a large portion of the summer. And it's finally been improving our drought conditions here across central Ohio as well. I want to show you the latest information into us new here on this Thursday. This was last week's drought monitor. You can still see a good section of the state under moderate drought, even here in the 10 TV viewing area. The good news is that continues to improve. On the right side of your screen now is the newest drought update. A large section of that, especially from places like Marion down through Mount Vernon over even toward Newark and Coshocton, has been taken out of the latest drought update, which means we are now seeing more and more improving conditions here across central Ohio. And while that's certainly been good news for our state, other parts of the country still unfortunately been dealing with the dry conditions. More fires sprung up earlier this week here in California due to those dry conditions and the winds. These scenes were captured on Tuesday as crews battled more fires popping up in those dry conditions. As of Thursday morning, red flag conditions had backed down some. That's good news, but changes could again happen in the days ahead. Speaking of fires, right now many live Christmas trees are up and decorated homes across central Ohio, but authorities say be careful as the trees get older and they dry out. They do become more flammable. The National Fire Protection Association says between 2018 and 2022, crews responded to an average of 835 home fires each year. They've been ignited by decorations, but data also shows nearly half of all Christmas tree fires started in the living room by a lamp or the Christmas lights themselves.
You want to keep the Christmas tree at least 3 feet away from any heat source. So that could be, a radiator. It could be your fireplace. It could be a space heater. When you're placing lights on the Christmas tree, really examine those light strands to make sure that the wiring is not frayed and it's in good working order, and that the bulbs are working well and not loose at all as well.
Authorities say make sure when you leave your house or when you go to bed, you turn those lights off for extra safety. Unplug them as well. Never want to see that this time of year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially at, some older homes, you have those radiators above the ground.
Yeah.
And if the trees are too close, over time that can kind of dry out, get away the moisture from the tree, and then fires can happen that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to be on guard this time of the year. But we don't want to focus only on the bad parts of the holiday. Let's move to some other aspects of the season. Counting down the days till Christmas. As you saw in the forecast, it's now in the 7-day. It is right around the corner. 6 days left. If you have gifts to send out for the season, you're almost out of options. Post office says it's too late to ship by Ground Advantage. If you ship using Priority Mail Express, December 21st is your deadline. That's Saturday. It's counting. Tick tock, tick tock. So the UPS, ground shipping for them, check the website for details and deadlines on their end. For those of you shipping next day air, you have some extra time. Deadline is the 23rd, which is next Monday, a little bit further away. Finally, FedEx, some of their deadlines, you've already missed them. Keep in mind with some of these options, it will likely take a few days to get there. And the best price, you're probably just kind of paying what you're paying at this point. You can send those packages as late as the 24th. for same-day shipping. And speaking of procrastination, you're not alone if you haven't started your shopping or finished your shopping. The question is, why do we wait so long, though? One UC Berkeley professor says it's in your genes, and the scenarios are ripe for procrastination during the holiday season, including shopping, studying, and anything else you got to do. Filing taxes, that's one of them, too.
My understanding is that there is a genetic element to who ends up being a procrastinator. And one reason for that is there are differences between people and how impulsive they are. People, by and large, tend to procrastinate.
One study found about 75% of college students say they procrastinate, but experts pointed out you can change your behavior and learn how to plan a little bit better. And one group that did not procrastinate, thankfully, that was our viewers here at 10 TV. I want to give a thank you to everyone who donated toys for this year's Big 10 TV Toy Drive. Our cameras were rolling less than 24 hours ago when the Salvation Army handed out those toys to local families in need. In total, more than 4,600 families signed up to receive gifts. They'll also each receive a Christmas breakfast, dinner, and game. Our crew spoke with local mothers who say these gifts will mean everything to their children on Christmas morning.
Because they are so happy. They are so happy waking up to go meet the toys. They are so overwhelmed. So we are so grateful for this Salvation Army.
There's still time to donate this season. Salvation Army of Central Ohio is trying to raise $500,000 through their Red Kettle campaign. Gotta love that.
Oh, yeah. The
holiday
smiles
spirit.
on the kids and everything. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Absolutely. And, you know, before that, we were talking about procrastination. Dylan, give me a score. What's your procrastination level this holiday
I'm very
season?
bad at it. And in fact, I have to do what I do right before a deadline.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't have the motivation.
You know, I fall in that same category a lot. I mean, if it's a far off deadline, if there is not a cutoff, it's not getting done.
Yeah, it's not getting done.
It's not getting done. But again, I like to see that our viewers did not procrastinate. They helped out those
Yeah.
kids with the toy drive. And finally today, I want to check out some cool video. Always the best part of the show, show you the video we found for sure if you guys at home. I know we showed you some of the video yesterday of the tornado out in California, but this is new video just into us here this Thursday from a dash cam. Look at that. During that California tornado this past weekend, it is incredible pictures there. And honestly, it's amazing things weren't worse than where we ended up doing. You can see all those branches being sucked off in one direction. That's never a good sign when you see that. Even worse when you see here in a second when it stops and they start coming the other way. That's when that tornado is pushing, well, just uncomfortably close. There it is. There's the reversal. You see the tornado coming by.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That is close. That is crazy.
And you know, folks there aren't as well, they don't get as many tornadoes, so they don't know exactly what to do in terms of tornado safety compared to here in the Midwest where they're pretty common.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thankfully, things weren't ending up being worse out there than it actually was. One more piece of video for you, this time not so weather related, other than it's from a very beautiful environment. Santa Claus swapped the traditional sleigh for jet ski to deliver presents to children in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Tuesday. NGO Heroes of Love, which supports patients suffering from cerebral palsy, microlepsy, autism, and other syndromes, joined forces with the fire brigade to hand out gifts to approximately 50 children and their parents. Captain for the fire brigade said, through this event, her brigade also saves lives, but with a different approach, one of joy, renewal, strong spirits, and mental and physical health.
Santa doesn't always hang out at the North Pole. Sometimes he needs that nice warm water getaway, too.
Yeah, I mean, we all need that nice warm water getaway. You might need it after the cold weather heading away.
Yeah, it's going to get super cold this weekend. Make sure to bundle up. That does it for us here on 10 TV Plus. Make sure to tune in for Jerry tonight on 10 TV News at 4, 5, and 6. We'll see you later.